Hello, my name is Lucia Fuentes, and today I want to share with you an initiative which stemmed in part from my personal experience, but mostly from having observed how many students in natural sciences and health sciences struggle in their courses. And these struggles are in many cases due to language barriers, in spite of their intellectual capabilities and their imagination and their motivation. Furthermore, many of these students are first generation college students, and many of their families and communities have really no access to information about what their children or community members are doing because of these language barriers. So this initiative, I was able to actually implement it as part of the CTL language across the curriculum. And I implemented it in the general biology this is a course for majors. These were two honors classes, one in spring 2020 and one in fall 2020. So originally, this course is actually a first semester course. It's for majors, as I mentioned. It has both a lecture and a lab component. And the research project, there's a research project that is incorporated into the labs. And so students gather and analyze the data. And then at the end of the semester, they present their findings, usually as a research paper, but also as a poster. And during the poster, they actually have to do an oral presentation. So part of the assignment that I'm going to talk about was actually part of this large project. This is one of the sections of the assignment of the project. The students produce brochures with abstracts of their work. And these brochures are then translated into languages spoken in their communities and in their families. And then the original idea was that we were going to have a research day where each student would invite two members of their family or their community or friends to see their posters and hear the presentation. And then during this event, they would distribute their brochures in the particular languages, allowing for the members of their communities to actually partake in the work of their students. The assignment goals were, first of all, the students would have the ability to summarize their results of their scientific findings and communicate these findings to members of their families and communities. This is a big responsibility, and it's not an easy task. Students also, in doing this, would actually gain an understanding of how their work can contribute to their communities, just by bringing knowledge about science and in ways that are accessible to everyone. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the more specific learning objectives were to actually write a scientific abstract. The abstracts would have to include the main research topic, the purpose of the investigation, the methods they used, the findings and conclusions, and this in a maximum of 200 words. And then the other objective of this particular assignment was to then be able to translate or interpret the scientific abstract into everyday English or another language to share with the community at large. So I did this project. I had to change the nature of the project completely because initially we were going to do research on the microbiome of the East River. And this is a project that has been an ongoing project for 3 years now. And so because of the shutdown, because of COVID-19, we were unable to actually do that research and go into the lab. So given the urgency of the situation in which many students found themselves, I felt that the best thing to do was to do a project related to COVID-19. And so I'm not going to describe the results, so that will come on later, but the experience in itself was definitely a very different and a very moving in many ways experience for both the students and myself. In spring 2020, I had already met the students, so most students had their cameras on, and the relationship that developed was very close. Um, we supported each other as we learned. It was very different in the fall 2020. I had never met these students in person. I perceived a sense of exhaustion and frustration on the part of the students. Furthermore, a lot of them had actually lost a lot of members in their families. They definitely had a sense of isolation. I did do some little polling throughout the semester, and a lot of them had health problems themselves. In spite of this, the project did manage to trigger interest in some of the students, not all, but there was good participation, and you will be seeing the results of this project in our in-person session. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your attention.